It's February 2020 and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, big numbers, spring programs, and one book, one community. All that and more coming up next on the Library Roadshow. Welcome to the February edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Numbers are in for 2019, and I can assure you it was a very good year. More than 2.2 million visitors came through our doors last year, and circulation topped 3 million items. You asked 970,000 questions, attended more than 6,000 meetings, and logged on to Wi-Fi or library computers 1.75 million times. Website use exceeds 3.5 million. You also attended more than 6,000 free library programs, with many more planned for 2020. And speaking of programs, Super Tax Day helps kick off tax season. The Kilted Man returns, and the Constantinides New Music Ensemble is scheduled to perform in February. Two monthly programs, Garden Discoveries and Saturday Science, are off to a great start, with more on the schedule. A special after-hours screening of The Labyrinth will offer an interactive movie experience that will be fun for all ages. We have some wonderful programs designed for Black History Month. Our good friends at LPB are sponsoring a screening of Finding Your Roots, GU 272 and the Louisiana Connection. We're featuring Dr. Charles Vincent and his program on Louisiana's first Black elected officials. The African American Read-In takes place at a number of branches, and the genealogy staff is presenting a special workshop, Resources for African American Genealogy. All that and so much more. Check out the February edition of The Source to find out the details.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
For every kind of service or resource that the library offers in the real world, we also try to offer something to parallel it in the digital library. And since books are pretty much the thing you think of when you hear the word library, it makes sense that we put a premium on developing ebook collections for the digital library. Adam St. Pierre joins us now to explain in the Digital Download.
Did you get a new tablet, e-reader, or device over the holidays? Or are you just tired of paying for ebooks and digital audiobooks? Well, the library has tons of digital audiobooks and ebooks available to you with that magical library card in your wallet. And both Overdrive and RB Digital are available to you on the go with the Libby app and RB Digital's app, regardless of whether you've got an Android device, an iPad, an iPhone, or a Kindle. And you know we've got all your favorite genres and authors between both services. And RB Digital also gives you access to Pongalo, a streaming platform of Spanish-language films, series, and telenovelas. And it's all free with just your library card. To check out RB Digital or Overdrive, head over to the digital library page at ebrpl.com.
Thanks, Adam. We have news for patrons that use our ebook platforms. One of the biggest publishers in the world, Macmillan, has begun embargoing new titles. They're basically restricting the library's ability to purchase copies of new titles in the ebook format. That's going to mean longer hold lists for ebooks and e-audiobooks. But don't worry, we also have the books in physical format and audiobooks in the library for you to check out. And don't forget, we offer lots of other sources for ebooks and e-magazines. Tumble books for the kids, BiblioBoard, even scholarly books are waiting to be discovered. All you need is your current EBRP library card. Cards are updated every 3 years, so if it's been a while, you'll need to come on into the library to refresh that library card. Let's shift gears and check in with Kayla Perkins, reporting in from Beyond the Stacks.
We at the library like nothing more than to promote lifelong learning. We vary our programming to get you excited about all kinds of things, from books to engineering to crafts. And let's not forget science. Your library offers you a variety of robust programming and on just about any area of interest. We're at the main library at Goodwood for Saturday Science with Gabriela Gonzalez. Gabriela Gonzalez is a professor of physics and astronomy at LSU. She was the speaker for the program entitled Black Holes and Other Matters. Get it?
I'm going to be telling the story of gravitational waves produced by collisions of black holes and detected as very, very, very minute changes in distances that were measured here in Louisiana. That was the sound of a gravitational wave. Another prediction of Einstein's theory is that for an object to produce gravitational waves, it has to be non-spherical. If it is perfectly spherical, then it does not produce gravitational waves. And black holes are perfectly spherical. I am from Argentina, and I went to school there. I've been living in Baton Rouge for almost 20 years. But when I started in Argentina, I wanted to know how everything worked. I wanted to go to college to know explanations for everything. And I went to college to do that, and I realized that not all the explanations existed, and there were questions to ask, answers to find, and I did that with a career in physics.
Gabriela was the perfect speaker because of her work at the LIGO facility in Livingston Parish. LIGO Livingston works with an identical facility in Richland, Washington, to confirm and dismiss the presence of gravitational waves, which are small changes in distances that ripple through the universe caused by the collision of black holes. In fact, the existence of gravitational waves was first confirmed right here in Louisiana at LIGO Livingston in February 2016. Here's what that gravitational wave sounded like at LIGO Livingston. If you like that, then you'll love the Saturday Science program.
Well, these Saturday Science lectures, which are not just on physics, but because they're organized by the physics department, and a lot of them are on physics and astronomy, are a great way to start. They happen once a month, but also there are many events at LSU and at Southern University that are open to the public. The LIGO Science Education Center next to the LIGO Observatory, for people who are interested in that, is open once a month too, on the third Saturday of the month. There are lots and lots of public events. And scientists, professors at LSU, we love questions. So if anybody writes us an email saying, "Can you answer this question? Can I go and visit you?" we always say yes.
What interesting information. I learned so much in this program. To find out what's coming up next, pick up a copy of our monthly newsletter, The Source, or visit us online at www.ebrpl.com.
Thanks, Kayla. Stay right there. After the break, Jessica McDaniel joins me for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow.
Do you wonder how your family landed here? Do you really know your family roots? Discover more about your family history at the East Baton Rouge Parish Library Genealogy Department. East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Become a member and discover more.
You're watching the February edition of the Library Roadshow, everything you need to know about your local library system. Now, of course, each year we invite readers from all over the parish and beyond to join us for our spring One Book, One Community series, now in its 14th year. Putting on a series that has such depth and breadth takes a lot of care and energy, and no one person can do it alone. But Jessica McDaniel does the lion's share of juggling the logistics of the public programs, the special events, and even the special info guide. Okay, Jessica, first, what is our One Book, One Community selection for year 2020?
Well, this year we're doing Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Oh, I love that.
It follows the journey of a young Nigerian woman, Ifemelu, who leaves her homeland, Nigeria, and her first love, Obinze, to attend school and experience life in America. It takes place over about 15 years where she maneuvers the obstacles of American life before returning to Nigeria and Obinze.
Jessica, what's special about this book?
Well, Ifemelu is self-assured and she's intelligent, and she makes a name for herself in the academic world and in the blogosphere. We get to read these blog posts throughout the story.
And what kind of programs are we planning to go along with this book?
Well, this year's programs, we have a lot that tie into the story and the many themes that are involved. For example, we have a talk with Dr. Tina M. Harris. She is the Manship Maynard Endowed Chair at LSU's Manship School.
That's a mouthful.
Yes. We have a local blogger panel. We have a performance by Kumbuka African Drum and Dance Collective. We have film screenings. We have programs with LORI, Louisiana Organization for Refugees and Immigrants. We have podcasting workshops, book discussions, and so much more.
So Americana is obviously a book for adult readers. What about the kids?
Well, this spring is an excellent opportunity to explore stories relating to immigrant experiences, world cultures, race, identity. We list a lot of these stories on our website, along with many youth book discussions, interactive crafts, and more.
Sure. So tell us about the kickoff on Saturday night, March 7th.
Well, the kickoff party is an after-hours street party.
It is a party.
Yes, where we get to celebrate Americana and get everyone started on the same page. We'll have refreshments, local organizations, games, prizes, and a live musical performance by IMI, which is an eclectic group of percussionists, singers, and dancers.
So it'll be a happening event out there on the plaza here at the main library.
Yes, and the whole family is invited.
Excellent. And of course, free.
Yes, free.
Right.
It's the library.
Right, whether you're getting your caricature done or your face painted or taking a bite of some delicious refreshments provided for you from the patrons of the public library.
That's right.
How do people find out more?
You can learn more at readoneBook.org. We list all of our events, dates, and times across the parish. We have book discussions, reader's guides, and so much more.
Information about the author, Adichie. I think a link to her very popular TED Talk and so much more. Thanks, Jessica. Our theme for the year 2020 is Take a Fresh Look at Your Library, and I think that reading a book like Americana helps us take a fresh look, not only at our community, but also as our nation as a whole, through the main character's eyes, experiences, and thoughtful observations. After the break, Louisiana author and TV personality Leo Honeycutt. Plus, we have book reviews from one of our youngest library patrons. All that and more coming up next on the Library Roadshow.
Buenos días. Estoy bien, gracias.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to the February edition of the Library Roadshow. Leo Honeycutt is an award-winning television journalist of 28 years whose credits include CBS News, ABC's Good Morning America, NBC's Today Show, and CNN. Leo has authored several books which include former Louisiana Governor Edwin W. Edwards' official biography. Leo joins me now by phone. Okay, Leo, how did you get your start as an author?
Actually, must have been back in junior high school when I started writing school papers, and then I was the editor of the high school paper, and then I wrote my first novel in 1999, based off some stories from Barry Seal. about the drug smuggling operations in North Louisiana, North America, which then, of course, is translated later to a movie, but they didn't use my book. But that's okay. And off that, former Governor Edwin Edwards had read the book and had thought that it was good, and then he wanted me to write his biography. So we came out with the Edwin Edwards, Governor of Louisiana book, 621 pages, back in 2009. It became a bestseller in 2010, and we sold close to 60,000 copies of that, as well as won the Louisiana Literary Award.
What will readers discover in this book?
It's a good study in political power and what kind of personalities actually get into politics, and it also shows the kind of clientele, the population itself, that votes for certain politicians. And it's mostly good. It is a microcosm of what is in the United States in general. But there is a different, more European spin on things that happen in Louisiana.
What inspired you to write this book?
Governor Edwards actually reached out first to find out if I would write the book, and I did have misgivings about it because there were a lot of things after having covered him for about 25 years that I didn't like about him. So we came to an agreement that we would be upfront and truthful with each other, and I finally convinced him that it would be best if he were completely truthful with everything, because almost everybody already had a preconceived notion about whether or not he was a crook. And so we tackled each one of those subjects, and we went after it, and we published it.
Leo, what are you working on next?
I'm working on a book about incarceration, Louisiana specific, primarily around Angola. Not just about the history, but also about the programs that have proven true to turn Angola prison around from the bloodiest prison in America, which it was called back in the 1950s, really got turned around by Warden Burrow Kane in the 1980s and 90s. Well, actually the 90s and 2000. So are there answers to this? Yes, and we're going to disclose all that in a book.
How can our viewers learn more about you?
Well, they can go to leohoneycutt.net, list of the books on there, that everything from the original novel, Over the Edge, through the Governor Edwards biography, and then, of course, Jerry Lane's biography, as well as Clark Williams' biography, who started CenturyLink, America's third largest telecom. In all of these books, you will find some inspiration for what it takes to actually get something accomplished. Of course, it's hard work and perseverance, but that's only a part of the story.
Thanks, Leo. Pick up copies of Leo's most noteworthy titles, including the biography of Edwin Edwards, at any library branch today. It's now time to check in with one of our younger patrons to find out what they're reading at the library.
Hey, I'm Nadia. I'm 10, and my favorite book was Who Was Michael Jackson? Michael was already one of the biggest pop stars in the world, but he was never satisfied. He wanted to do something on stage no one would ever forget. He wanted the audience to go crazy. As soon as the music started, Michael put on a hat and began to dance. Instantly, the audience jumped to its feet. They screamed and cheered. They recognized the hat and knew that the song was Billie Jean. My mama brings me to the library. When I come to the library, I like to do my homework and read books that I've never read before.
Thanks, Nadia. It's always good to hear from our younger readers. Makes me remember the books I used to enjoy and keeps things fresh. Stay right there. You're watching the Library Roadshow.
Do you wonder how your family landed here? Do you really know your family roots? Discover more about your family history at the East Baton Rouge Parish Library Genealogy Department. East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Become a member and discover more.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
My name is Melissa Easton, and I'm head of the Special Collections Department of the East Baton Rouge Parish Library, located on the second floor of the main library at Goodwood, where Baton Rouge history comes alive. The East Baton Rouge Parish Library Special Collections Department is home to the Baton Rouge Room Archives. The mission of the Baton Rouge Room Archives is to collect, manage, preserve, and provide access to items that represent significant historical actions of local governments, businesses, residents, and institutions of the City of Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish. These items include, but are not limited to, photographs, manuscripts, documents, periodical publications, audio tapes, and memorabilia. One of the ways we highlight items from our collection is by assembling displays. Each display is crafted to complement a library program, public holiday, or historical event. The items that comprise each display can come from one single collection, such as the Baton Rouge Room Record Collection, or many different collections, like the items in our World War II display, which come from our Rare Books collection, our Textiles collection, and the archives of Carlos G. Svat, a local politician who served in the Asian theater in World War II. Along with our physical displays, we have started developing online exhibits. The first such exhibit, created by our digital archivist, Emily Ward, documents the events surrounding the desegregation of Baton Rouge's public pools. We are currently developing our second online exhibit to commemorate the Women's History Month, and this will be published sometime in March. You can find our digital exhibits on the Baton Rouge Room's info guide. On Wednesday, February 19th at 7 p.m., we will be hosting a talk on the National Hansen's Disease Museum and Hospital in Carville, Louisiana. During this month, we will have a display that explains the fascinating history of the disease in Louisiana and the development of the hospital. To learn more about Special Collections programming, you can pick up a Source magazine, call 225-231-3752, or come by the Special Collections Department in the main library at Goodwood, where Baton Rouge history comes alive.
You're watching the February edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. I really enjoy the variety in our monthly lecture series. Did you know that there was so much interesting information about the history of Baton Rouge all under one roof? Come on down and check out the great old photographs, start tracing your ancestors, or just read up on the history of our great capital city. All available at the main library on Goodwood, and it's all free with your East Baton Rouge Parish Library card.
My name is Charles Jefferson. I am the third child of Simon and Arsena Jefferson Sr. I'm here today to share 3 of my stories with today's audience.
Charles Jefferson was inducted into the McNeese Football Hall of Fame in 2014. After his standout college career in the late 70s, Charles played professional football at Denver and for the Houston Oilers. It was later in life when he would establish a very special relationship with his local library system.
Charles Jefferson came into Special Collections about 2 years ago and started asking us questions about football players. And we didn't realize he was asking us questions about himself. And as we spent time talking and getting to know Charles, we discovered that he was here to learn about himself and his past. At first, we didn't realize he was writing a book, but that came out over time. And it's really been an evolution over 2 years of watching Charles write this book, research the events surrounding his life, and put them down into words and actually print this book. It's been truly amazing to watch.
My book title is Memoirs, The Legacy of a Professional Football Player. And it's about my life, starting out beginning as just a childhood. I talk about various experiences I had growing up during that time, throughout different stages of my life, and the people that were responsible along the way for my success.
It's a testimony. The book takes the reader back to 1970s and 80s Louisiana and details events from Charles's first-person perspective. Charles shared many of these events with the audience at his debut speaking engagement.
Next, I informed our kids, Eric, Brandon, Brian, and Deandra, who were all proud of me. I then notified my siblings one by one to share the good news about my induction with McNeese. This was some awesome news for me that day.
We were really able to help him. Of course, we have the wonderful resource, the Advocate Historical Archive, which is available online at the library's homepage. And that was really one of the main resources that he used to research football games, social events, even some political events that happened around his football career.
You just never know what will come from a visit to your East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Well done, Charles.
Hey, look at me. I had no idea that at this stage of my life, soon to be 63, that I would have been in a position to have written a book, my first book. And I can only say that, look, take time out to continue building your legacy out there, whether you do it in words of a book, whether you do it in pictures, treasure those moments, because someday, long after you're gone, they'll be left behind for your grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren to remember, be it good or bad or indifferent, but you would have established a legacy.
Isn't that something? You can pick up a copy of Charles Jefferson's book, Memoirs, The Legacy of a Professional Football Player, at any library branch location. I'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons and staff for helping us finish strong as we closed out the year, and I'm pleased to report that your library system was once again named a starred library by Library Journal's Index of Public Library Service. This is the 8th year in a row that we have achieved that status, and it's entirely because you take advantage of all the resources, services, and programs that the library offers. Keep it up. And since we're taking a fresh look at your library in 2020, here's my reminder to make your voice and views heard by taking our community assessment survey. Perhaps you got an email from us already, or saw it on the website or at a library computer. It's also on the cover of the newsletter. It'll only take a few short minutes, and it will really help us make sure that we're on the right course. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/ebrpl and share a post if you attended one of our fabulous programs in January. Perhaps you dropped in for Train Day, Garden Discoveries, Saturday Science, local history lectures, or even story time with the kids. That's facebook.com/ebrpl. And while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow in March? Fabulous authors Sarah Broom and Margaret Wilkerson Sexton will be our guests at Authors After Hours on March 21st.
Tune in next month and I'll take you to the One Book, One Community kickoff party.
And next month, I'll share another resource from your digital library with you.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow. And remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 14 branches, plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.
And that's how I roll.